Well, I often wonder, and I would never go back and say, oh, Michael, if you'd only survived, because then I wouldn't have been Michael. I was right doesn't mean anything. As I said, winning doesn't mean anything. And I know this sounds a little arrogant, but there is such a thing as being too good. And I know other people that I could put that description on. I will always be curious about what I would have been able to do with a bigger company, with a Time Warner. I'm fascinated by the fact that big companies don't seem to innovate. I don't know if that is architecture, size. I sometimes say you can't expect Shaq to dribble the ball up court. He's just not the right skill set. So a big company may not, the bigger and more successful a company is, the more it's protecting, the more it's watching over. And an innovator looks like this, and a big company looks like this. Keep the sheep on the, you know. So that would have been a really interesting thing for me, because I felt capable of going into a corporation and finding out what was of the essence and moving it around and finding people. I always attracted good people. I managed down much better than I managed up, obviously. And I would have probably liked to get my hands on a studio, because I think the motion picture business, I think there may be again, I'm saying there may be a different model or a different approach, or a modified approach. But then again, that's a business that's dug in like the music business was. And it would take a lot of chipping away and whatever. But that, you know, that was why HBO was so good, was that it was a new thing to create. So you didn't have to, it's tougher to renovate than it is to build from scratch. And I think HBO was, in a sense, primitive when I got there. It really didn't know what it could be, what it should be, how to get there. It was heavy on the sales and marketing side, because that's what Time Inc. was. Sales and marketing, in terms of their brands and their, you know, their magazines and stuff. But somehow, serendipitously, a really interesting collection of people came together. And I mean Nick, and Austin is another unsung hero. He is, I still see them, and he was, for a Connecticut Yankee, he was wild. And we just had so much fun and so much success. And I think we shared it like a family, you know, and we had lots of laughs. I never did a meeting without a joke. You know, we had, and you know, in the course of your career, whatever, if you go talk to old HBO people, if you bump into someone who worked at HBO, just ask them, what was it like back then? It was Camelot for people, you know. And I always wanted to be a head camp counselor. And that's what it was.